Fair warning, this video will contain spoilers for Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. So if you haven't finished that game, you should definitely click off of this video, finish the game, and also come back to this video when you're done with the story. You have been warned. So right now, we know that Yozora and Sora are in the same point in reality, or at least they were for a little bit in Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind. And that's actually really important because before we talk about Yozora, we need to talk about how Sora got there. We know that Sora ended up in that world because he committed a taboo of nature. By messing with the flow of time and rewriting events that were supposed to happen during the final battle in Kingdom Hearts 3, Sora was destined to disappear after gravely misusing the power of waking. Even after Chirithy, young Xehanort, and Mickey warned him that he might never come home if he misuses the power of waking again, he decided that he had to do whatever it took to find and rescue Kairi, and in doing so, he paid the ultimate price. And now we get to where he is now. We know that Melody of Memory's ending confirms that this is a different universe outside of the normal Kingdom Hearts universe. And we know that this is the reality that Yozora comes from, but there's still a question that has yet to be answered. Why is Yozora there? Well, that's what we're going to figure out today. But before we do that, if you want to see more quality Kingdom Hearts and other JRPG content, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Also, the channel's been growing fast here in the last couple of months, and it'd be great if we could be partnered by this time next year. But to do that, I'm going to need your help, so here's what you can do to help me out. If you know someone who would like this video, be it a friend, a family member, your auntie, your uncle, someone who just showed up to the cookout, if you think, hey, they would enjoy this, go ahead and send it over to them. I'd love to see this community grow and have more people join the Guardians of Twilight to discuss and talk with one another about things they find interesting. Speaking of which, if you want to talk with me and send me some theories of your own, join the Guardians of Twilight Discord or follow me on Twitter. Links will be down below in the description. Now, let's see what's going on with Yozora. So I'm pretty sure you guys all know about the theory that Yozora is actually playing the Reaper's game, because he's in a Shibuya that's similar to the Shibuya we see in The World Ends With You. And that's a legitimate possibility because Kingdom Hearts seems to be the bridge between Square Enix properties. We've seen Final Fantasy characters make appearances in multiple games and characters from The World Ends With You in Dream Drop Distance. So there is merit to this theory because Yozora did say he was put through some trials. But there is another possibility that we could consider, and it's actually because of the line right before that. It's when Yozora said he accidentally wandered into this place. I was thinking about that, and I feel the fact that Yozora is there is talked about, but we haven't really talked about why he could be there. Honestly, I have a couple of theories, and one of them could be that Yozora could have actually misused the power of waking just like Sora. Because from the secret episode, we know that Yozora isn't from the city that we know now is called Quadratum. And it's because he specifically said that he wandered into this place. Now, the fact that he specifically said that he accidentally wandered into this place would mean that this isn't actually where he's from. Because wandering implies that you're moving somewhere without a fixed path or without any real knowledge of your destination. Like, you wouldn't say you wandered into your own house. Wandering implies that you don't know where your destination is. Which means to me that Yozora and Sora aren't where they're supposed to be. So it makes sense that Yozora could have also misused the power of waking or committed some sort of taboo of nature of the same magnitude and ended up in the exact same place as Sora. Because let's break down the power of waking and what it is and how to use it. The power of waking is the power to awaken sleeping hearts, and the correct way to use it is as young Xehanort told Sora in Kingdom Hearts 3. It's for traversing hearts to reach worlds, not for traversing worlds to reach hearts. And when you look at the Verum Rex trailer, we see Yozora and his friends Magia and Aegis fighting through a bunch of mechs and going to save a girl that we can safely assume is the Nameless Star from Kingdom Hearts 3 and Melody of Memory. And the fact that she is a Nameless Star now means that she must have died or had her heart taken from her. And the fact that she's there in the final world means that Yozora couldn't save her from whatever was happening in the trailer of Verum Rex. Now, in order to find her and save her, Yozora must have used something similar to the power of waking to try to find her. And also, something else that supports this fact is the fact that he ends up in the final world if you lose to him, means that he must know at the very least something about the power of waking. And we know that Yozora has been to a Station of Awakening and has done a dive to the heart because we know that he summoned Sora's Station of Awakening in the secret episode of Remind. And the only way to get to the final world without dying is to use the power of waking. For example, we know Kairi was able to go to the final world at the end of Remind, but that was only because Kairi was with Sora and Sora knows the power of waking. And while looking for the Nameless Star, Yozora must have failed and ended up in the same role that Sora is in, and before he found a way to escape, he was told to save Sora, which gave him a reason to stay there. But another reason he could still be there and not have escaped is because that version of Quadratum is actually a sort of prison dimension or some sort of copy of Quadratum. It'd be kind of like that at Twilight Town in Kingdom Hearts 2 that was used to hold Roxas and to stop him from fighting the organization, to hold him until Sora was ready to be woken up. Because again, this is where Sora ended up after he misused the power of waking and where he was sent after breaking the rules of nature. And when Sora first meets Yozora, Sora talks about how he remembers Yozora, and he says if he's there, then this can't be the real world. And Yozora just kind of seems done with it after he basically just kind of says, yeah, whatever, are you done? And then after that, Yozora confirms that yes, this is not the real world. So we know that they're in Quadratum, but in a different version of Quadratum, something that isn't real. Now, whether or not it's some sort of data quadratum or something like that, I don't know. I think it's very unlikely that it is a data quadratum because Twilight Town was something that was created by Ansem the Wise, and I don't think misusing the power of waking would have you end up in a data version of a world without someone putting you there themselves. But when Chirithy was talking with Sora, there was a lot of emphasis put on nature, specifically on nature and the natural flow of time. The rules of this universe demand that the power of waking be used correctly or there will be dire consequences. Because there was such an emphasis put on nature and the rules of nature being broken, I think the reason Sora was pushed out is because in order to correct such a significant event, nature pushed Sora out of the universe to make sure something like that doesn't happen again. And the reason his voice can't reach the other side is because without being rescued, he isn't allowed to come back to this universe of his own accord. And I think because Sora misused the power of waking, he was sent to some sort of prison reality for breaking the rules of time. And it could be that Yozora is there for one of two reasons. One reason could be he actually misused the power of waking or some equivalent and the same thing happened to him, or another reason was because Yozora could be stuck there because he was actually using the power of waking the right way as far as using hearts to traverse worlds and looking for his friends and accidentally wandered into this place and can't leave. I personally think that Yozora misusing the power of waking is the one that's more likely to be true. I think it's possible that Yozora misused the power of waking and knew of the possible consequences and took that risk anyway. Because in Remind, Sora used the power of waking and almost barely had enough time to restore Kairi's heart. But it is possible that Yozora did the same thing and actually failed and now is in the same realm as Sora. And knowing he was stuck there, he was told to save Sora and escape as one of his trials because that's the only thing he could do. But who could have told him that and why? Well, that's something I'll explain in part 2, so stay tuned. In the meantime, let me know what you guys think about Yozora and this theory. And I also want to hear some of your theories down below in the comments or in the Discord server. Also, make sure you leave a like if you like the content, but most importantly, make sure you share the video with a friend and subscribe to the channel to help support your boy and become a part of the Guardians of Twilight. Until then, I will see you guys next time. Peace out.